Okay, friends, we are on chapter 12. It's the last chapter of our math book. And then after that, we'll just be doing some review and things. So we are going to do the little introduction to chapter 12, which is about two-dimensional geometry. So we can see here this boy playing at the playground, and we can see shapes all around. What shape are these monkey bars? They're triangles. What about these tires? Circles. Do you see some rectangles around here too? Okay, we are going to be looking all around us for different shapes and making sure that we can identify those in the world around us. So we're going to start here. We're going to open it up to where we can see two different shapes or two different pages. Okay. So this is where we are going to be working. So let's bring it up there so we can write on it. And we are going to start with number 1. You're going to want your pencil and your crayon so that we can go back and see how we did. So we'll do the first page pencil and then crayon, and then we'll do the second page together with our pencils. So number 1, it says circle the shape that belongs in each group. So look inside the box, look at the shapes in the box. Now come to these shapes outside the box and circle the one that should be able to go in the box. Okay, number 2, same thing. We have some shapes in the box. Find their buddy that can join them. Number 3, circle the shapes with 4 sides. If you need more time, then you can pause. For number 4, you are going to want blue, yellow, and red crayons. So make sure you have those out, and then maybe grab green or orange to use for us checking our answers here in a minute. So blue, yellow, and red. Okay, with our blue crayon, I want you to color each of the squares in this train picture. With your yellow crayon, color each rectangle yellow. And finally, color each circle red. Okay, let's go back up to number 1 with your other crayon. Probably green would be a good one to use. And on number 1, which shape belongs in the group? The purple one, that's another triangle. Number 2, what shapes do we have? Rectangles. Which one belongs? The green one is the rectangle. Okay, so give yourself stairs or stars based on your answers. Okay, looking at number 3, I want you to circle, if you haven't already, the square has 4 sides. This rectangle has 4 sides. Here we have another square, it's just been turned on its point. And here we have a long skinny rectangle. Okay, so all of those have 4 sides. It doesn't matter which way they're turned. And we will learn about some other shapes with 4 sides as well. Okay, number 4, we want to have each square blue. So we have a square here. We have a square here. we have a square here and here. Little ones down here connecting the train cars. Okay, so you get 1 star if those are all blue. Next, it said to do rectangles yellow. So we have, this is going to be yellow here. Okay. We have this one is yellow here. And then each of these are yellow. So if you got all of those pieces yellow, then you get another star. And then finally, it wanted us to do the circles red. So we have all of our wheels down here are red. Okay, there we go. So if you have all of those circles, those wheels red, then you get your 3rd star. Okay, let's go back to our pencils and let's look at the 2nd page together. Here we have 5 different shape names. So they're up here in our vocabulary review words box. And we are going to mark if I know it, if it sounds familiar, or if you don't know that word. Okay, so if you know it, you're feeling pretty happy about that. If it sounds familiar, you're not so sure. And if you don't know, I don't like that word because I don't know it yet, but I'm going to learn it. So if you know it, you should be able to draw it or describe it. If it sounds familiar, you've heard it before, but you're not sure which shape that is. And if you don't know, that's okay too, because we're going to make sure you do know later. Okay, so the first one is circle. I know it, it sounds familiar, or I don't know. Check 1, whichever one is true for you. Next, we have a hexagon. I know, it sounds familiar, or I don't know. There's not a right or wrong answer. It's just what's true for you. Next, we have rectangle. I know, it sounds familiar, or I don't know. Mark the one that is true for you. Now we have square. I know, it sounds familiar, or I don't know. Which one is true for you? And finally, triangle. I know, it sounds familiar, or I don't know. Whichever one is true for you. Okay, and then down here on the bottom, we want to make sure we can find the circles, the squares, and the triangles. So looking here, how many circles do you see? I see 1, 2. Any others? Nope, so I'm going to put oh, that was a really messy 2. Let's try that again. I'm going to put a 2 here. Okay, number 2, it says look for the squares. I see a square. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good job if you caught that. It doesn't matter if it's turned to its point, it's still a square. Okay, it still has 4 equal sides and 4 equal angles or corners. So we have 4 squares. And how many triangles do we have? 1, 2, 3. Okay, So hopefully that got your brain back into mode for 2D shapes, and you will be ready to go ahead and get on and do lesson 12.1. Happy learning!